and I'm the Chief Business Officer here at RKL eSolutions. Today, I'm going to introduce some solutions and ideas to help you accelerate cash receipts. Before we get started, just a couple housekeeping items real quick. You don't have to have your cameras on. In fact, I'm going to turn mine off here shortly. At any time during the presentation, you can send me questions via the chat or the Q&A feature in Zoom. And finally, today's session is being recorded. So if for whatever reason you get distracted, need to step away, don't worry. We'll have the replay on our website for you within a couple of days. So let's go ahead and get started. Your team today is me. It's a team of one. I will be your moderator and presenter. And as I mentioned, I'm currently the Chief Business Officer here at RKL eSolutions. I've been selling, implementing, supporting, working with customers and publishers in the industry for over 25 years now. My role at RKL eSolutions is to help grow the business. As Chief Business Officer, that means helping with new customer acquisition, helping our team manage the customers that we have, as well as strategic business alliances like referral partners and marketplace solutions that help not only our business grow, but help your businesses grow. And for those of you that aren't familiar, RKL eSolutions is a Sage partner delivering Sage ERP and complementary solutions across various industries, including entertainment, nonprofits, residential care, manufacturers of discrete products, as well as food and beverage and traditional process manufacturers. Today, we're going to talk about what is AR automation and our definition of AR automation. What are some of the current challenges that we're seeing across our customer base when it comes to automating AR applications and solutions? What are some of the benefits of AR automated solutions? How can you get started and some next steps to take? As well as your current Sage product and marketplace solutions that we recommend to our clients. And then finally, we'll wrap up with Q&A and next steps. Before we get started, let's launch a poll. So question number one, which of the following would have meaningful impact at your company? It's multiple choice, so feel free to select any or all that apply. And then I believe if you scroll down, you'll see question number two, what percentage of cash is received by customer check today? So manually receiving checks from your customers. And again, that's just a best guess. So I'll leave that poll open for just a second. I'm going to share that to my screen so everybody can see. Of our two poll questions, looks like quite a few obviously want to reduce outstanding and uncollectible customer invoices. Next up, allow customers to view and reprint invoices on demand. Everybody wants to reduce the manual transactions and the current workload on their staff. And as I scroll down, hopefully you can see the percentages as well. Looks like the majority of our participants today are receiving a great deal amount of manual cash transactions, over 50%. So thank you for participating. We'll go ahead and move that over and keep on moving. So what is AR automation? AR automation is a generic term that encompasses a lot of different manual processes across accounts receivable transactions. When we talk to our client base and prospects about AR automation, we like to focus on three different areas of the business. Number one, invoicing. How do you send invoices to your customer? And how do your customers access those invoices on demand? For example, are they calling your customer service account or your account rep to ask for those invoices, and then you're reprinting and faxing or emailing PDFs to those clients. So we're going to tackle a little bit about invoicing, obviously receipts. So how do you receive cash from those customers? Most of you responded today that you're still receiving manual checks. So that's a very manual process, obviously, of opening, sorting, proofing, entering, obviously posting and reconciling. We're going to talk about different applications that can help you receive cash, not just receive cash automatically, but securely and hopefully without any limitations. And then finally, how do you collect those invoices? So we all have outstanding sales that are maybe slow to pay or uncollectible. So how do you manage that collection process? How do you identify those customers? How do you track the progress? What kind of notifications do you have internally? And how do you implement those best practices and operating procedures? Here are some of the current challenges that we see, not just that we experience, but that our customers are experiencing today. So AR automation hopes to provide solutions for companies struggling with outstanding uncollectible AR invoices. If your collections and activity workflow isn't well defined, there are solutions and processes for that. Along the way, if your biggest issue is lack of visibility, transparency, and status, we're gonna talk about that. Another trend that's not just affecting AR automation, but business in general today is staffing. Identifying new employees, bringing on new employees, retaining the current employees that you have, growing your organization without adding additional headcount. Hand in hand with staffing is manual processing. So how do you process transactions? What amount of transactions are manual? What does that mean in terms of what's the volume of those manual transactions, and what are your internal controls to manage that? And then another one is Pci Compliance. And for some of you that don't know, Pci Compliance is not mandated by Sage or by RKL. Pci Compliance is mandated by your credit card companies, and their compliance is aimed to ensure security of credit card transactions across the industry. Typical Pci compliance focuses on capturing and storing, meaning encryption of that credit card data for antitrust software requirements and user security permissions, restrictions to data, etc. Some examples of non-compliance that we see when we visit customers are customers that are still requesting forms be emailed with credit card numbers, either again via email or fax. Staff that's handwriting credit card numbers over the phone on sticky notes, and then crumpling that up and throwing that away. So again, Pci compliance is mandated by the credit card companies to ensure that the information that you're gathering about your customer credit card transaction data is secured and stored safely to protect all parties. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Obviously, hand in hand with challenges are benefits. So what are the typical benefits that we see when companies and customers implement AR automation software? Number one, the goal is to reduce days sales outstanding and average days delinquent. If you're not familiar with what those terms mean, days sales outstanding is the average number of days a business takes to collect its receivables after a sale. So think about how you manage your age trial balance. And average days delinquent is the number of days that your sales outstanding are actually delinquent or past due. So if your terms are net 30 and your average days delinquent is beyond 30 days, then ADD, average days delinquent, is going to look at how many days delinquent is your average AR aging report. Both of these are important metrics, and there are others, but both of these are important metrics because improving or reducing days sales outstanding and reducing or improving average days delinquent can have a significant impact on your cash flow and your balance sheet. Think about converting those assets to cash and what that means for your organization. It might improve profitability by reducing the bad debts expenses and the write-offs that you incur by not being able to collect those delinquent accounts. Managing collections can also reduce the time spent on collections when it comes to investigating forms and documentation. So having a process in place and a process where you're documenting those conversations and those interactions with your client can actually reduce the amount of time that you're spending by looking up old invoices, reprinting and sending that information to your clients and getting caught in those never-ending cycles. Obviously, if you can automate some of the collection of those manual cash receipts, you're going to reduce processing costs, time, and perhaps errors as well. We talked about staffing and the challenges. Automating cash receipts can have a big impact on your headcount. Allowing your team to focus on other initiatives and high-value activities like customer engagement, customer support, really building and nurturing those relationships. Again, the goal here is to scale and grow without adding additional headcount. And then finally, the analytics and the reporting. So the benefits that you get of having this information, of automating information and comparing and defining these metrics. So again, the conversion of cash impacts cash flow, your ability to convert cash to other assets, as well as your profitability, maybe even lines of credit that are based on asset values, or long-term, your financeability as a company. Where should you start? Number one, we like to do a tour, right? Whether that's a virtual tour or on-site tour with our customers, where we really help them identify the current challenges and the metrics, prioritizing based on the greatest impact and the greatest immediate impact or gain that you can have in your organization. Develop a rollout plan by objective and target date, right? We're going to introduce a couple ideas and solutions today, but the goal isn't for you to take away all of them and try to implement them all at once. It's to identify the area that you can have the greatest impact, pick one, implement it, and then move on to multiple phases as you get comfortable and really optimize that solution. What can you do once you identify the project is to communicate and champion the project. Really make sure the organization understands the why, the what, and the benefits, not only to the individual, but to the organization, so that they understand what their contributions mean to the organization's success. And then finally, analyze and optimize. As many of you know, the implementation of software never ends at the go live. That's really just the beginning of learning how to use the software and optimize the software and what it can do and how it can help your business grow. So again, the takeaways here are: what problem are you trying to solve? How will the stakeholders benefit? And who are those stakeholders, whether it's the organization, your accounting team, the individuals, and or customers? How will you measure the success of the project? And then finally, what's next? As I mentioned, optimizing never ends. What possibilities does AR automation present to you and your organization going forward? This is one of my favorite topics. Which solution should I consider? And many of you may be surprised to know that some of these capabilities are already within your Sage solution. So we're not here to necessarily talk about marketplace partners today in solutions. Some of these capabilities are hidden or buried and just simply need to be unlocked within your Sage ERP application. Some of the standard features that we see that Sage delivers across its portfolio are enabling the AR lockbox or ACH payment function. AR lockbox means payments directly sent to a bank. That bank then processes the cash receipts. The bank obviously deposits the funds for you and then sends an export file that you can import and match in your Sage AR cash receipts applications. Again, that's a pretty standard feature that comes with the products. The mapping of the bank data may need to be done, but that's not very difficult either once we determine what's the extract format from your bank. ACH payments is another one that that might simply need to be configured and enabled within your software. And again, that simply allows these funds to be transferred from bank to bank, again, with that bank extract file letting us know the transaction has cleared, where we can import that information into your cash receipts entry. For some of you still sending invoices, or better yet, emailing invoices on demand to your clients when they ask, another function that comes within your Sage solutions is the ability to email those AR invoices. And on your customer record, you probably have an area where you can maintain your customer contacts so that when you email transactions and documents, you can automate that process directly from your PC. So you don't have to print, fold, mail, or print, convert to PDF and email. You may simply be able to email that directly from the ERP solution using those customer contacts within Sage. All of the Sage products also come with configurable workflow notifications and alerts. So again, without doing much effort, you may be able to utilize a report that you have today. For example, your AR aged trial balance report. You might be able to utilize that crystal report to identify accounts that are greater than 31 days or past due X number of days. You can have a simple report. That report can be emailed to others within your organization. You can actually trigger notifications from within the software package that notify you when those invoices become past due or when they're X number of days past due. Again, these notifications, reports, and alerts are configurable in your Sage products today. Maybe you need some training and some help, but the good news is you can access that today with the subscription and the maintenance that you're already paying. Another common utility that we see customers utilize is dashboards and reports. And think about not just your aged trial balance report or exceptions, but utilizing those exceptions in a dashboard component that sits right on your desktop, so that when you start your Sage application, you can see these exceptions in a manageable format to take action. We've seen lots of different ideas, right? Metrics tracking the days sales outstanding. We've seen customers identify the top 5 outstanding balances, maybe by the largest balance or again, X number of days past due. Leveraging the data you have in your current Sage product and the reports and dashboards to help you identify these challenging accounts so that you can take action sooner rather than later. And then finally, another Sage utility is CRM. For a while, Sage has been shipping Sage CRM with the Sage ERP products. Some Sage products obviously don't have a CRM capability, but if you're using CRM, one idea is to use your CRM to track the collection call notes and scheduled tasks. And the benefit of that is it's documented, The engagement and the interaction is documented and time-stamped in your CRM so that you can see the call history, not only who from your organization has made the call or attempt, but also who from the customer you've tried attempting or have been in contact with. So these are some great ideas to leverage your current Sage solution to help improve the cash collection process, again, with very little effort. You have the software already. Maybe it's a little bit of training or some outreach to our consultants for some guidance. Sage, as a Sage customer, you have access to the Sage knowledge base as well. So there are tutorials and videos that you can access directly through Sage to learn more about these functions. In the event that you're looking for other automation topics like credit card collections, collections in general, managing the collection process, there are an abundance of marketplace solutions. And I'd hate to say that there's this industry and this marketplace is really fragmented. This is just a small sample of the solution partners within the Sage ecosystem that provide credit card merchant payment authorizations, as well as clearance and credit collections management. There are literally hundreds of solutions. These are the solutions that we've selected, either based on positive experiences or feedback from our client base. But don't fret if you don't see your solution or your credit card merchant company on there. We have done custom integration to several other solutions, and we have a blueprint for that success. Let's talk about a couple of success stories here. Shelly, and I'll let you read the testimonial, but Shelly Dedman is from Hannah's Home, and Hannah's Home is a maternity home for single pregnant young women aged 18 and over. They provide a safe, nurturing environment designed to provide the strength and encouragement needed to face the future in positive ways. By simply changing from PayPal to Paya, Hannah's Home experienced dramatic results. One example is during their high giving season, they had more one-time donors than ever before, which actually increased their monthly donorship from over 300%. So simply automating the collection during the donor process and switching from one provider to Paya, another provider, they were really able to grow their donations by making it easier for all of their donors to donate money. And if the Paya name sounds familiar, it's because it was developed and distributed by Sage as Sage Payments before Sage sold it. So some of you may have already used Sage Payments or maybe as a Paya customer. Again, Sage exited that payments processing market to focus on its ERP and complementary products portfolio several years ago. A different marketplace solution was the Lockstep collections solution. And Marvista Entertainment is one of our entertainment clients. It's a leading global independent studio that produces and distributes a variety of content across the world. They have a library of over 2,500 hours of content and approximately 70 or more newer movies per year are added to their development and distribution pipeline. They use the Lockstep collections solution to manage the collections process from start to finish. So on the previous slide, I had talked to you about if you're leveraging Sage CRM or a Sage CRM or other CRM solution, you can use that product to track activities, to schedule follow-up, to document your notes and your progress. But if you're not using a CRM solution, that's where Lockstep comes into play. So Lockstep has a separate cloud solution that allows you to extract customer and invoice information to its secure cloud solution. And it then walks you through using those notifications, alerts, documentation, prompts, and tasks to actually help you manage and improve that collection process. Since the time of our summer series webinar announcement, Lockstep has since been acquired by Sage. So on August 16th, Sage entered into an agreement to acquire Lockstep, and we expect the solution to become advanced functionality in future releases. So if you're using Lockstep today, we think that the integration will only get better. And if you're not using Lockstep today, the current thought process is that Sage will incorporate those additional features and functionalities into a future release as an add-on module if interested. I wanted to leave some time for Q&A, and again, I promised today was not going to be a commercial for Marketplace Solutions. The goal was to identify 3 areas that we could improve your cash collections through invoicing, through cash receipts, and through collections. If you're interested, we actually have more information on our website, which includes all of the solutions that I've talked about. We encourage you to reach out to our consultants for information on how to leverage your out-of-box Sage capabilities that we mentioned as well. And our next step in the webinar series is actually the conclusion of our automation webinar series that we've run for the summer. So Venn Technologies, which is a leading integration partner in the Sage ecosystem that specializes in connector solutions, will actually be the final presenter bringing this to a close. Scott Hallraw, the president, will bring all of our summer series together in conclusion by introducing ideas, best practices, and example of what's possible. Along the way, we've had 3 questions, and I'd love to address those now, as well as remind you that the chat and the QA are open. So question number 1, when we were talking about credit cards, somebody asked, we use credit card merchant that isn't on your website. Can we integrate it, and how? And the answer is yes. Typical integration points are quote, sales order entry, and what I mean by that is when you're using a credit card, during the quote or sales order entry process, there's a pre-authorization that's typically required. At that point, you're simply pinging the credit card company to make sure that the funds are available to process this order. It doesn't mean the credit card is processed at that point. In fact, the credit card isn't processed until you pack and ship. But the first step of that integration is the pre-authorization. A lot of companies prefer a second pre-authorization before they pick the products. So if you think about that, you've taken the order and you've done a pre-auth, the credit is approved. But maybe some time goes by, days or weeks, before you actually pick the order. Before you pick the order, a lot of companies, as a best practice, prefer a second pre-authorization to make sure that the funds are still available and the customer hasn't exceeded their credit limit. Once the product is picked, in most instances, these packaging and shipments take place within hours that same day. And at that point, upon the pack and ship, the credit card is actually charged, and then you move to your AR invoices. So yes, we understand the process. If your credit card merchant isn't one of the credit card merchants listed on our website, we have done, and several of these credit card merchant companies have done, custom integrations with Sage solutions that we can leverage. The good news is, like I said earlier, there's a blueprint for these integrations. Each credit card company is a little bit different, but we're simply at this point mapping elements through extended APIs. So great question. I hope I answered that in full for you. We had a second question. Who do we contact to activate some of the Sage solutions or Autobox capabilities that I highlighted? Again, many of those are feature and configuration settings in your current solution. Obviously, the features and functionality vary by Sage product. So if you're on Sage Intacct, it may look different than what it looks like in Sage 100 or Sage 500. But the best next step is to either reach out to me, contact your CSM, and that's your customer success manager here, or the primary consultant that you work with. If you're curious how to contact me, the next slide will give you my contact information, a generic sales inbox that you can send to if you don't know who your CSM is, or feel free to visit our website and you can submit a request as well. But our goal would be to learn more about the challenge that you're trying to solve and determine if that Sage product can meet the requirement without a marketplace solution. Good. And finally, the last question that was submitted is, we use Lockstep today. How will the acquisition by Sage impact our usage and ongoing renewals? Again, that's a great question. The announcement by Sage to acquire Lockstep is literally just weeks old. It happened on August 16th. So we're still sorting through the acquisition next steps and the impact that it's going to have. But if you're a current Lockstep customer today, we know that the integration to Sage is going to take some time. So your renewal will continue to come separately directly from Lockstep. Again, at some point, we expect the product development and integration to only get better. And that includes processing your renewal transaction directly with Sage as an add-on module to your current Sage subscription. But we're not there yet. Let's let the acquisition dry and let these two companies become acclimated and merge the business units first. But in the immediate future, we know that the Lockstep renewal will continue to be separate. Let me check the chat in the Q&A to see if there were any other questions submitted. And it doesn't appear that there were. So again, you feel free to submit any questions. Thank you for your time and attention today. I hope that I gave you some things to think about. Again, not necessary solutions to run out and purchase or implement, but some topics to think about, some introspective comments for your Sage environment to see if there's additional functionality that you can unlock today to help leverage cash receipts and improve that process. And if you have any questions, you can contact, again, me directly via email through our generic sales inbox, or visit our website. On that website, there should be a form fill. So if you have any questions, you can submit them via that form fill on that page as well. And I assure you, it'll get routed to your customer success manager and consultant team to follow up. Again, thank you for your time. Today's session was short, quick, and sweet. I hope you learned a little bit. Have a great day. Thanks for joining, and take care.